The Jewish Vocational School Masada in Darmstadt was established and run by Samuel Milek Batalion between 1947 and 1948. The school trained and prepared about 45 to 60 Holocaust survivors for the purpose of building a kibbutz in Israel. Although the school only existed for 10 months, it nevertheless represents an important aspect of the post-war history of Hesse and a manifestation of the re-emergence and establishment of Jewish life in post-war Germany. The Masada School was a beta school. This particular beta school was founded and supervised by Samuel Milek Batalion. This was quite unusual, because almost all the schools for displaced persons, DPs, known after the war were created and supported by ORT with no idealistic or political affiliation. In 1946, Samuel Batalion met Moshe Mordchelevitz in Esquej at a beta conference. Moshe was very active in the beta movement. Batalion told Moshe about his idea to open a vocational school. On Moshe's advice, he presented his idea to the beta head office in Munich. They approved it, and Batalion received permission to transfer Moshe to Darmstadt to be the madrik in the new school. The school was financed with the assistance of the Beta Central Committee in Munich. The local American military government gave some minor support. The local school authorities provided professional teachers. The Jewish community and joint supported some of the students. Samuel Batalion was very committed to the project. He established locations and organized the lodgings and provisions, teaching staff, financing and equipping of the school. On May 4, 1949, the Beta Central Committee decided to close Beta Germany after most of the students emigrated to Israel. The buildings, the regional German government and the city of Darmstadt provided the facility of the school and the living quarters of the students nearby. The school was located within the former building of the main Neckar train station at Steubenplatz in the center of Darmstadt. This was in contrast to most of the Jewish educational establishments in post-war Germany, which were located within the DP camps. The train station was served by trains until the opening of the main train station in Darmstadt in 1912. From 1937, the building of the old Rhine-Neckar train station housed from the Nazis' welfare organization of the district Hesse-Nassau and was then named the Jacob Sprenger House, after the local official. The students lived and ate in boarding accommodation. For living quarters, the school was granted a building in the hospital complex not far away from the school at Steubenplatz. The students lived and ate within this buildings and walked approximately 20 minutes to the school. The address given for the living quarters is Bismarck Str. 59 and Grafenster 9. In addition to the teaching rooms in the school, there were also workshops which the initiators of the school had mostly built themselves. The equipment in the school and the boarding accommodation was considered rudimentary. The Inauguration. On the 13th of September 1947, the Jewish Vocational School Masada in Darmstadt started their first activities. The official opening ceremony of the school was on the 9th of December. At this ceremony, Colonel Rose, district chief of the American military authorities, officially opened the school. Guests at the ceremony included other members of the military authorities, members of Hesse's regional parliament, the head of the regional parliament, as well as members of the Darmstadt City Council and the city's Jewish community. The curriculum. The school aimed to provide Jewish students with the possibility of establishing and building a kibbutz in Israel. The students were trained to become locksmiths, metal workers, carpenters and other tradesmen. To this end, the curriculum included courses in technical calculation, measurement and control technology and electrical installation. The courses on offer ranged from electrical engineering to machine lathing, mechanical engineering and building fitting to woodworking. In addition, they were taught Hebrew, Jewish philosophy, physical fitness and the basics of Beta and Zionist ideology, for which books in Hebrew were supplied by Beta Munich. Lessons were held for 10 hours a day. The school taught about 45 to 60 Holocaust survivors from various DP camps in the American zone, such as the DP camps in Babenhausen, Dieburg, Roche-Ellis-Truth, Gabazay and Weilheim. Each one had managed to survive the Holocaust and was now determined to prepare themselves for a future existence in Israel. Most of them came from Poland, with a significant number also coming from Russia. Others originated in countries like Lithuania, Romania, Hungary and Czechoslovakia and spoke several languages. The most common languages were Yiddish and German, followed by Polish and Romanian. Some spoke Hungarian, Russian and Hebrew. Almost all students expressed the wish to emigrate to Palestine. 19 students left for Palestine on 3 July 1948. Only a few stated that they wanted to emigrate to the USA or to stay in Germany. Important figures. Samuel Milek Batalion. Samuel Batalion was the founder and director of the Masada School. Samuel Milek Batalion was born the 22nd of September 1918 in Stryj, the son of Martin Batalion Lebersfeld and Fanny Hennenfeld. He graduated high school in 1937, at which time he also joined Beta. He registered to study law at the University of Lemberg, Lvov, but fled to Russia towards the end of 1939. Soon after reading Hitler's Mein Kampf, he walked all the way to Perm where he remained for several years. In Perm, he worked as plumber and later became a station leader of a Sovkhoz. He was arrested twice, once because he was accused of being a Zionist. He was released after agreeing to spy on his workers and friends for the NKWD. But after his release, he arranged false papers which identified him as a professional boxer. To avoid his first match, he flew to Saratov. There, with the help of a common acquaintance, he was reunited with his sister Helen. He also met Sofiosa, whom he married on 8 May 1945. They left Saratov a few months later to travel, via Poland, into Germany. At the end of 1945, disguised as armed Russian soldiers, Batalion and a group of friends crossed over to West Berlin in an officer's car claiming to be on a secret nighttime mission. He traveled to Hanover and, from there, onto the DP camp in Esquej. There he became an UNRRA officer and assisted in organizing several new DP camps. He lived with his wife until October 1946 in Hesse-Schlichtenau. There he began to plan the establishment of the school and, in May 1947, he was appointed as director of the Jewish Vocational School Darmstadt, a position he held until it closed in 1948. Batalion became an independent tradesman. The family moved to Frankfurt at the end of 1950. The couple divorced in 1953. His daughter, Lee, remained with her father who married Simone Freund in 1962. He then became involved in real estate, assisted by Simone. He died in 2000 in Frankfurt. Moshe Mordchelevitz was born 18 February 1920 in Kovno, Kaunas, Lithuania. His parents were Sarah Brode and Isaac Mordchelevitz. Moshe had already joined the Beta movement in 1937 upon graduation from high school. In 1939 he was recruited into the Lithuanian army, which was promptly disbanded in 1940 following the Russian invasion. After the Germans occupied Lithuania on June 22, 1941, they created ghettos for the Jews. Moshe's two brothers, Yaakov and Sizel, were shot in the Kaunas ghetto in 1943, and only Moshe was able to escape. Moshe was interned as a forced laborer in Russia until 1945, whereupon he returned to Poland in 1946 and then traveled on to Germany. Moshe was very active in the Beta movement and met Samuel Batalion at a Beta conference. He became the madrik of the Masada school in Darmstadt due to his experience working as a madrik in Gebersee Wasserburg. Moshe had also led the Herzog kibbutz in the DP camp at Hesse and Lichtenau. He arrived in Darmstadt in 1947 and lived in the kibbutz. During the day, Moshe often attended university lectures as a guest auditor and taught in the evening. Representatives of the Jewish Agency came from Israel to Darmstadt to bring the students to Israel. In April 1948, Moshe was the first to leave the school in order to join the Irgun and fight in Palestine. Moshe boarded the ship Teti in Marseille and arrived on May 15, 1948 in Tel Aviv. He was initially recruited into an Irgun combat company. However, following the incident involving the ship Atalina, both the Irgun and the Haganah were disbanded, and the Israeli Defense Force formed, in which he fought until the end of the War of Independence. He was discharged in August 1949. He married Miriam Kalmus on November 8, 1949 and raised two daughters. After his wife died in 1980, he married Fala Minkowitz in 1981, with whom he emigrated to Canada. The exhibition Leader Batalion did some intensive research about her father Samuel Milek Batalion and the Masada Vocational School in Darmstadt. The result was an exhibition about the Jewish Vocational School Masada, which was developed in cooperation with Renata Driesen from the Heinrich Emanuel Merck School in Darmstadt. The exhibition was first shown at the beginning of 2011 in Darmstadt. On the 26th of October 2011 it opened at the Friedrich Schiller University in Jena, Germany. The exhibition is also planned for other locations in Germany and Israel. Jewish Vocational School Masada in Darmstadt.